And here's Barisha!
Hey guys, I'm Bryce Clayton and welcome to another Melbourne Victory Supporters Preview. We had a massive season 10, we're champions and...
Massive season, mate. It was a beast season. How could you try and bring it all into just a few words? It was the greatest thing that you could possibly imagine. The grand final in 2015 made us the three-time champions of Australia, mate. We look towards a huge 11th season. AFL and rugby is over. The real football can now start.
You're back.
I am back by unpopular demand. The Rat Man is here. I clearly have nothing better to do if I'm here on the MVS Preview.
So what have we got in store for this episode?
Well, of course, we go through a momentous 2014-15 season. We go through the FFA Cup run so far and how we've secured a spot in the semi-finals for the first time against Hume City at Etihad Stadium. And of course, we find out why Chavapi levels are dangerously low in NPL Victoria as we knocked out the North Geelong Warriors in a playoff spot to make Victoria's top flight. And of course, preview our upcoming round one clash for Adelaide away. Make sure that you don't end up in a barrel, mate. So much to come.
Well, that's right. And on that note, we're heading into this week's preview.
It feels just like yesterday. The terraces full of navy blue, full of passion and noise. It felt so surreal, so right. But getting there wasn't easy. In the same week we were knocked out of the Champions League, would again have to accept defeat to the Brisbane Roar, finishing us off for another year. Maradona once said to Socceroos captain Paul Wade, "Your tears of pain will one day be tears of joy." But would this come true for the boys in blue?
It's my pleasure to introduce to you the club's international marquee for the next two seasons, Besart Berisha.
The 2014-15 season kicked off with a bang. Names such as Mathieu Delpierre and Fahid Ben Khalfallah would have an immediate impact along with Valeri and Georgievski, but nobody would have more of an impact than Besart Berisha, the man that sealed our fate in the prior season, would remain undefeated for the first 10 rounds, would stand up to the hype of our crosstown rivals and their much anticipated new signing David Villa, and promptly demolish both Melbourne City and Villa, will dominate the soon-to-be champions of Asia with valiant performances both home and away to the Western Sydney Wanderers. The pain of last season will prove to drive a determined side that potentially was growing to be the best side Australian club football had seen. Signs of the old champions that once walked tall in the A-League in 2007 and 2009, and a combination of a new kick of energy was starting to shine through. Whilst the boys gave it their all on the park, the terraces would unite and do the same in the stands. Eventually would win the league for the first time in 5 years. Would then draw Melbourne City in the semi-finals, sweeping them away with ease in front of 50,000 people at Etihad Stadium. That night and every other night, there was only one team in Melbourne. And there we were. We found ourselves on the grandest stage of all, where we belong at our home at Amy Park in the A-League Grand Final. Sydney FC came, they fought, but who else would score but Besart Berisha?
And here's Barisha! Besart Barisha creates history by scoring the third grand final. This is his stage.
Costa Barbarouses would seal the win at a home grand final, and finally, this time, shedding tears of joy with the thousands in attendance. Our fate was set, as club veteran Broxham added insult to injury, redemption for 2010, redemption for the year before, and now, celebration, living in the moment, a moment that would last forever in all of our hearts for years to come. Victory were the champions of Australia for the third time. We, the supporters, stood tall through thick and thin and stood by our city, stood by our game and stood by our boys. And those boys, those Melbourne boys, are still number one.
Wow, well, that just gives you goosebumps. After 6 long months of having to deal with the start of this, Adam Goods that.
Ooh.
Wait, Did you just boo Adam Goods?
No, I was saying Boogard, Nigel Boogard. It's topical, Bryce. We're playing Adelaide United.
It seems like you're being a bit racist there, booing Adam Goods.
I'm being racist against Nigel Boogard. Boogard.
Anyway, moving on. We've got a massive clash against Adelaide United this weekend. We'll get into that a bit later. But Danny, what have you been up to?
Well, briefly, drummed in the terrace for some of last season, United A-League supporters to support North Korea in the Asian Cup, resulting in a viral video seen by millions. Played a bunch of futsal and scored unbelievable checkers. Crashed my car on the way to West Sydney away. Worked at FFE as their multimedia coordinator and produced a lot of content in the football community. Got a football shaved in the back of my head. Travelled to my native Thailand. Near broke my leg during the 2015 semi-final against Melbourne City and celebrated too hard when Archie scored the goal, twisting my leg backwards. Lost my straight virginity. Worked on the field during the 2015 grand final and took in all the atmosphere and actually celebrated Bess's goal. And of course, going to Balmain away and cheering the boys on, seeing a 6-0 victory against a 4th Division team. What about you, Ross? What have you been up to?
Well, I did some match reporting for FFV and was actually able to follow the NPL quite closely as our Melbourne Victory NPL 1 boys got promoted to Victoria's top flight. So Danny, take us through the season that was and promotion against North Geelong Warriors.
Well, absolutely, Bryce. To get to the NPL Victoria, Melbourne Victory Youth had to win NPL 1 East, which was the conference in Victoria's 2nd Division. Of course, our biggest battle was Richmond Soccer Club, who actually ended up taking the league on the final day of the season, meaning that we had to play a playoff spot against the NPL 1 West winners, the Moreland Zebras. We got that victory in the qualifying final, which then put us into a playoff against the North Geelong Warriors, who actually finished 12th in NPL Victoria. Now, that playoff was played at Port Melbourne, where we were victors after a hard-fought battle. But of course, that meant that we were promoted to NPL Victoria as a proud club, and the North Geelong Warriors go down to NPL 1 West, I believe. So, Bryce, it was an absolute massive occasion. And, of course, next season, Melbourne Victory Youth will be playing teams such as Melbourne Knights, South Melbourne FC, and many other teams in Victoria's top flight. So, a lot to look forward to, and hopefully a lot of boys get out to watch the team.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of NPL, we've got that huge semi-final of the FFA Cup coming up against Hume City in a few weeks. It's been an incredible cup run, hasn't it, Danny?
Yeah, no, it was a really awesome day. We actually flew up the day of and saw the 4th Division team from State League 1 New South Wales play the champions of Australia. It was definitely David versus Goliath, but in my opinion, it was great for community football. As we've seen here, definitely in Victoria. 5 out of the final 8 quarter-finalists were all from Victoria, and 3 of them, of course, were from our NPL Victoria League. So, for me, I think the FFA Cup is doing exactly what it should do, and that's giving the exposure and much-needed revenue that the State League and NPL clubs around Australia definitely need. So, I thought the day was a great success for the club, even though it was 6-0. They were happy just to be hosting the champions of Australia, and I thought it was a great all-round, great atmosphere, great game, and had a lot of fun. And there were a few Cove members there we had a bit of banter about, and they may not have given me crap about my haircut and my drumming skills, but other than that, great game all round.
Yeah, Balmain was great fun, Danny, and obviously 60-odd travelling fans making the trip over there for a 6-0 victory for our boys in blue. Bit of drumming from Danny, eh?
They don't let me drum anymore.
Okay, well, anyway, we saw the debuts of both Thomas Deng and, of course, George Howard.
Yes, Johnny Howard would be proud.
Yes, Danny, that was one of the chants that floated around the Victory fans that night, and obviously that 6-0 win put us through to face the Rockdale City Suns. 3-2 win on the night wasn't the most convincing of performances, considering Rockdale did push us right to the very end. Credit to them, though. Fantastic performance. Obviously, a goal to Bessar Barisha and a brace to our very own Jesse Macaronis with a wonder goal to finish it off.
My favourite part of that entire story is actually the little story where I heard that the entire stadium was actually dry and the odd 50 or 60 supporters decided to just head up to the VIP area just to, take care of the open bar that may or may not have been abused. I'm not sure what I may or may not have heard, but it sounds pretty fun.
Nevertheless, it was a solid performance which saw us get through to the quarterfinals against Adelaide United at Amy Park. It was good to finally return to our home stadium, the place that we won the 2015 grand final, and it was a very solid performance.
Yeah, mate. Well, Adelaide United. So it was a huge game, of course, in the FFA Cup quarter-final that we had against them at Amy Park. A good, decent crowd of 10,000 people at Amy Park. Only opened the first level, of course.
Well, yes, it was definitely the most solid performance of our FA Cup campaign so far, which sees us now facing Hume City in the semi-finals. But before we get to that, we've got our round 1 clash with Adelaide United at Adelaide Oval. It's always a huge atmosphere there, isn't it, Dane?
It's going to be a huge occasion. It was last year, of course. We had 33,000 people there, 2,000 travelling Victory supporters last year. I'm not sure what sort of membership numbers are going to really rock up, because word is that the membership packages haven't even arrived in Adelaide just yet, so that's a smart move from the Adelaide United Football Club. But other than that, I'm not sure. We'll see what sort of crowd rocks up, and it's going to be a great game. But the viewing, it's pretty far away from the field, but if you get a big enough crowd, it just makes for a great occasion. And I think the players definitely respond to that as well. So whether it's at Hindmarsh or Adelaide Oval, I really hope that the boys will pick up for this game. First game of the season, it's going to be massive. Of course, Adelaide United don't have Josep Gombau anymore, so it'll be a new change for them. So Adelaide United do have a lot of changes, obviously, both on and off the field. But third away, a few changes coming in. Obviously, Danny Vukovic coming in for Nathan Coe. He's going to be fighting for the number 1 position with Lawrence Thomas, as well as Oli Bozanic coming in at centre mid. I think he'll definitely try and fill the gap that Mark Milligan left when he went off to Buninyas, which, I mean, it's an arguable statement of why he went there, but money was definitely very appealing to him. At his age, getting that sort of offer from a Emirati club is definitely appealing. So hats off to him and good luck to him as well in the Emirates. But in comes Oli Bozanic alongside a few youth players, of course, as you mentioned. Howard, Lucas Spinella, and of course Galafuoco. I think he's going to be a great addition from Swansea City, obviously coming from their youth system, played a bit of the under-21s Premier League, so I think that'll be a great experience. So, to be honest, I don't know how the hell we're actually under the salary cap, but yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. So, it'll be definitely a test for both sides. Last year it was 1-1, so hopefully we can actually come home with the 3 points and then play the Melbourne Derby in round 2. And also looking forward to the Hume City FFA Cup game as well.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that Hume City clash. But first up, tomorrow night, Melbourne Victory versus Adelaide United at Adelaide Oval. For all those travelling fans, pre-games at the Duke of York Hotel. Obviously, it was a lot of fun last season. Shame we can't get there this season, but that's all right. It's going to be good fun to watch anyway. Hopefully, we can get our first points on the board for the season. I've been Bryce Clayton.
I've been Danny Ratner-Pinter.
And you've been watching the Melbourne Victory Supporters Preview.